Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the From the Back Tees podcast, a podcast from the Back Tees. I'm your co-host, Jerry Lou, and with me as always, is our founder and my co-host, another half, Zach Pencer. Zach, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm all right. Don't nobody worry about me. I guess coming up in today's episode, we saw a couple funny things this week in the golf tournament, which was the WGC Dell Technologies match play, which we'll do a recap of. Give you a little picks for the Valero Texas Open. We got a Caddie story, a Canadian fun fact, and a Twitter question. But before that, let us go do that voodoo that we do so good. You know, I always am nervous, like hitting that note, hitting the stinger. Gotta get goosebumps.
Nailed it.
That was our first time we did it. I don't care if we get sued or not. As Mike Dawson, the sound engineer for the Corollas Show, told me personally on Twitter, in this industry, it's best to ask for forgiveness rather than permission. I get that, but nobody uses that song. It's a great song, and Mr. Loggins, we will pay you kindly for it. But in the meantime, I really know everyone likes that song, and hopefully it strikes you all the same way it strikes me. So anyways, glad you guys could finally join us this week. We're recording super late after the internet has been giving mostly Jerry Lou fits, but it is what's today? It's Wednesday, right? I mean,
Today is
we're recording
Wednesday,
this last second. Zach, how was your week? How you doing? I mean, fill me in here. This is we haven't talked for a couple days, unfortunately.
So my week's been pretty good, I guess. Pretty busy. Lots of golf. Not too high quality golf, but golf nonetheless.
I haven't seen any pictures or Eagle stories or videos. So
No, exactly. I need to start taking of my triple bogeys.
Well, we can always move the needle back and forth. I mean, all you need is double bogeys, and next thing you know, it's bogeys, and then. I mean, the weather's got to be good, right? It's Florida. It's
although yesterday it rained for the first time. But
first time in how long?
Like weeks, or like
really?
not just a little rain. I mean, there was like a rainstorm. I guess it rains very often.
Like a monsoon.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I guess I watched the match play, my favorite event. That was great stuff.
Yeah, we got a couple things. Let's just jump right into it. Match play recap. We had the WGC Dell Technologies match play at Austin Country Club in Austin, Texas, keeping it weird. Great venue. I always love seeing that course. I love match play. I love us not fighting par or the field or the course. It's just head-to-head, mano-y-mano. And my goodness, I mean, Kevin Kisner is, even before he won, he's just a match play warrior. He's amazing. And he took down Louis Oosthuizen, who's playing good, and Molinari. That was the final to me right there. But there were a couple things that were funny that happened in that tournament. One I want to get to real quick, and I tweeted about it before it happened, not specifically, but Sergio Garcia v. Matthew Kuchar.
The two guys in the news
two
all
most
the time.
Polarizing professional wholfers. Yeah, they're like whether it's negative or positive, and unfortunately it's mostly negative. These are the two most talked about guys this year, short of Tiger Woods' scandal from a decade ago. And I tweeted about it saying, "Oh, how funny is this that we got these two guys together?" And all of a sudden, what happens on the seventh hole, Zach?
Yeah, so on the seventh, Sergio laid one up pretty close. I'd say about 6 inches. And instead of just looking over...
Hold on. By laid up, he hit a putt.
He hit a putt,
up to 6 inches. He had like a 6 or 8 footer, and he hit it up to swatting distance.
Exactly. So he decided, instead of waiting for Kuchar to give him the go-ahead on having the hole, he decided to putt it with the back of his putter, which obviously proceeded to miss. That's why we have all this big news. Kuchar brought in a rules official. I'm not sure if you know the full side of the story, but I think Kuchar was saying that he didn't give him the gimme, but he would have, and they were saying that retroactively you can't do that, obviously. And it's a big controversy over if this was poor sportsmanship or not. So what's your take on the whole thing?
Well, both of these guys, regardless of how purist we want to be or old-fashioned, they are old-fashioned veterans who've been around a while. And I think that comes into play in terms of keeping the spirit of it up. This isn't like Jordan Spieth's telling his caddy what would Arnie do or things like that. The situation to fill in the cracks that you might have mentioned there were, as Sergio's going to swat his putt, Kuchar as he admitted, and this isn't even a hindsight thing. This isn't even, to be fair, one of those things where we could say Kuchar, because he always seems to find himself either in the car wreck or witnessing the car wreck. He always seems to be the guy sitting there shrugging his shoulders going like, hey, let's make this right. But he seems to be kind of, giving the egg on the back of his head still. Kuchar, I mean, he said he would have given them the putt. We all believe that. Absolutely, because it was a 6-inch, swatter like we talked about. Trouble was Kuchar wasn't paying attention at the time when Sergio swatted it, lipped it out, and it lipped right towards him and he grabbed it. Simple as that. And then Kuchar looked up right away, and he said out loud to Sergio on the next tee, he's like, hey, Sergio, I didn't give you that putt. I wanted to, but I literally verbally didn't give it to you, which is what has to happen. Has to verbally be put into the ethos. And he said we should call a rules official over here just to see how that goes. And then long story boring, the rules official said, well, if he never verbally made it exist out loud into existence for anybody to hear or witness, then the putt was not conceded. And then it was obviously a sticky situation, and Kuchar said, I don't like this. It's too bad I don't like this. I don't know what to do. And Sergio kind of, I don't even want to say half jokingly, he said, maybe a quarter jokingly said, well, you could concede the hole. I mean, alluding to that could make them gentlemanly and even. And Kuchar was on the record of saying, I don't like that situation either. So Kuchar just finds himself in another middle of a shit sandwich. And essentially, Sergio goes on to lose that hole, obviously, and then lost the very next hole because he was rattled. And then the thing that ultimately got me about that, Zach, wasn't just the whole oh my God, could you have believed? I started to think to myself, maybe they cooked this up because these guys are friendly KG veterans or whatever. Maybe they cooked up some BS between them, because how easy is it to quote unquote not pay attention to? It's match play. I only have to pay attention to you. What am I not paying attention to while you're about to finish up? Whether it takes 10 seconds to hit one putt or two putts, why am I not paying attention to you? And then they came out with that video that was less awkward than to that Catch a Predator, where they're both sitting there explaining their sides, and I'm just like, yeah, I get it. You guys are all saying the right bullet points, and you're coming off as nice guys, but ultimately, it just feels like forced crap. Everything they do is making me like them less, both apiece. Not to say we should have liked them a ton in the first place, but their pegs are just falling. What say you? Yeah,
it was also a very awkward interview between them, because everyone assumed that their little Twitter video of them discussing it would be Kuchar apologizing or explaining himself.
Well, was it even an interview? It was a dialogue.
It was like a selfie video.
It was like Kanye talking to Kanye. Neither were talking to each other. Neither were talking to the camera. They were both just kind of talking over each other's heads, like, I believe this.
Yeah, but the whole thing was Kuchar. The whole thing was Kuchar just saying that it was Sergio in the wrong and that we should forgive him rather than he screwed up.
And Sergio's sitting there just kind of like, just like, whatever. I mean, I kind of want to give props to Sergio to actually be sitting there for that minute-long video to be like, yeah, you didn't have to do that. I mean, and Kuchar's sitting here over here trying to put a whole bunch of makeup on or something. I mean, I don't get it. It gets weirder the more we find, Matt Kuchar seems to be that hub that a lot of weird things are orbiting around. And I maintain, I even tell this to golfers, and every day something comes up about Kuchar, it's starting to get a little more galvanized, but I maintain, I don't know why we established Matt Kuchar as Mr. Nice Guy. I'll admit, he is a nice guy. 85% of tour players are amiable, family men, wealthy, mostly conservative, Republican, call it what you will, but we can paint the picture for what most of the tour pros are, about 125, 150 of them. Matt Kuchar fits the mold. Like I said, because I think he's a mouth breather and runs around like a basking shark with his mouth open and looks like he's, quote, smiling all the time. I don't know why I think he's just getting in the news a lot more, and for some reason we bestowed this crown of Prince Nice Guy upon him, and some things that aren't really that big a deal are falling upon him, and it's making him look like dog turds. And it's really not that big a deal. The things that are coming up at Kuchar are not a big deal, and he drags them out because he's still he's trying to live up to this persona we built up about him, maybe, and he doesn't need to. That's all. Yeah,
so I guess this is pretty big news in the Twitter golf world. How much do you think it comes across to actual casual golf fans? When you're caddying, do you ever hear people talking about this stuff, or is it more just on Twitter that people talk?
Not necessarily. I would say that the golf community socially has found a nice niche in Twitter. I mean, that's why I'm there, because I've had golfers under age. I'm turning 35 this year. Sorry, everybody. But I have a lot of golfers in their late 20s and younger, and a lot of caddy friends of mine who are in their early 20s and late teens who literally say out loud, Twitter, what is that? That's old. And I retort with saying, like, well, what's new? What's different? There's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat's still a thing, right? I mean, but beyond that, okay, but beyond the rest of the things being like dating apps like Bumble, Grindr, Tinder, et cetera, so forth, when it comes to social media sharing, what makes Twitter so old? If anything, you want to say if something's old, it's friggin' Facebook. I mean, come on, let's get serious about it. But when it comes to golf, I've noticed for years, and if you look at I follow over 450 people on Twitter, and 99% of them are all golf pros and golf writers, because I like getting the news and I like getting great takes, and I start to shed some accounts. Like, you can tell Rory McIlroy, he's probably the first Twitter account that always comes up when, suggested by, if you follow this and follow this, whatever. I don't think Rory's ever tweeted. And if he has tweeted, it's not from his own. It's like Tiger Woods' account. It's run by somebody else, obviously. But then there are your Max Homas, your Grayson Murrays. I mean, there's some guys out there who, Grayson Murray, right?
Yeah, Eddie Pepperell.
Eddie Pepperell. I mean, yeah, and then Appy Barnrat. I mean, I don't know if he's on Twitter, but personality-wise,
he is actually.
But some people aren't as prevalent on social media, quote unquote, just in terms of it's like, they might have a Twitter account. I mean, Jim Furyk didn't have a Twitter account until he was Ryder Cup captain. I mean, that was just was a thing, whatever. And Phil Mickelson didn't have a Twitter account for a while, and then when he got it, I know he's running his account.
It's true. Phil does.
But it goes to show you that even somebody as big as him, you don't have to have a publicist or your team or somebody on it, like running it or whatever. Phil runs it, and Phil does just a damn fine job.
Not to go on a tangent.
Somebody liked my video on Twitter.
Not to go on a tangent, but did you see? I'm pretty sure Phil's greatest accomplishment in life might have been that calves photo, because he is running with it every single week. He's posting how to get those calves. That I just picture him in his house like the happiest guy in the world that this calves video blew up.
It's funny because I've been around him in person a bit within the past year, and he has sneaky physical ability, because we all know for a fact, because he's been a pitchman for it and a sponsor for it, for rheumatoid arthritis medication or whatever, but he doesn't look to be the most in shape guy. Then you see him doing in tight jeans from Mizzen and Maine, some crescent kicks over Chris O'Donnell's head or whatever. I'm just like, wait, that was at somebody's dinner party, when they were leaving. He just ate and his belly's right there. You see it in the Oxford shirt. I mean, he's clearly, obviously, like many of the tour pros are. If they didn't play golf, I'm sure they could have been professional athletes, or if they pursued something in college or high school other than focusing on golf. A lot of these guys are natural athletes, Phil included. I mean, we make fun of Tim Lumpy Heron all the time, but the guy has multiple PGA Tour wins, a great swing, and maybe if you shed the fat, there's an Adonis under there, but who cares? I mean, John Daly, for example, it's just golf is quite like bowling in that regard. I mean, where it's just you don't have to be a physical specimen. Baseball can be that way too. You can get away with being a little slobby in baseball.
In baseball.
Which, by the way, before I forget, because I didn't write this down, but anyone within the sound of my voice right now, I've come up with the perfect analogy to my golf game. And if you know baseball at all, I am the Kevin Millar of golf.
The Kevin Pillar?
Millar.
Oh,
No, not the outfielder for not the highly defensive outfielder Pilar. No, Kevin Millar, the substitute the platooning first baseman. He played for the Blue Jays for a minute.
Was he on the Red Sox?
Yeah, he was on the Reds. Okay, so he was on the Red Sox in 2004, right when let's get off the golf podcast for 2 seconds. He was on the Red Sox in 2004 when they hadn't won a World Series in 80 some odd years. And I remember this distinctly because I was living in California, but I was kind of rooting for the Yankees. But baseball was great. Yankees were up 3-0 in this series, and the Red Sox in the 9th inning were down. They're about to get swept or whatever, and Kevin Millar leads off the inning. And Kevin Millar is only good at one thing: getting on base sometimes. He doesn't have average, speed, power, nothing. So he leads off the inning, gets on first base barely after getting brushed off the plate in a couple. It's a great. I'm sure if you look up YouTube or Netflix, there's an app out there, everybody. And Zach, you download it too if I haven't told you already. It's called Just Watch. Just one word, Just Watch. And what it is essentially when you hit the search bar on Just Watch and type in whatever you're looking for, it'll show you not only where it's streaming for free if it is, but it'll show you where to rent it, where to buy it. And it's just one click away and shows you the price. So if you type in 7 days in October, I think that's the name, but then again, I could be getting the number obviously wrong, but it's about the Red Sox coming back from down 3-0 to the Yankees and essentially scrapping out every single game not every game, but in one of the games is the Bloody Sock game with Kurt Schilling, which is a tremendous, like, it's the best documentary ever. And anyways, that being said, Kevin Millar started it all. And Kevin Millar is, like, I look at my golf game as, I'm not good at anything, but I can make B+ happen sometimes. I can get on base. Doesn't matter how. And when someone on base, come here, Skip, we need a pinch runner. Like, I did my job. I got on first.
As my grandmother always says, no pictures on a scorecard.
Fair enough. But some of these damn pencils are getting erasers on them now. So, anyways, what do you want to recap from the who did the best real quick in our brackets for our I mean, a couple of guys on our writing squad had Molinari going far, which I know I'm accused of chalk, but in my opinion, I felt like picking Molinari was almost a sneaky. I mean, if he had played more events, his ranking would be a lot freaking higher. Let's be honest. I mean, that guy is aces, no matter what.
Yeah, so we're four of us.
Oh my god.
We're four of us, and between the four of us, only two of us managed to get one person into the semifinals. Or we're five.
Oh, there's five of us.
Yeah, we're five.
It's Zach, Jerry, Nolan, Shane, and Greg.
Yeah, I wasn't including myself. We're five. 2 out of 5 got one semifinalist, so we did not do well.
Well, cripes, Molinari was the highest seeded person, and he was like a 7 seed or something. And everyone accused me, rightfully so, of taking chalk, which means 7 seed being the highest one. I was blown out to sea. Oh, with the Japanese tide.
Yeah, so now I remember what I forgot. On Nolan's behalf, since he's not here to be able to comment on this, you said you picked all chalk in the WGC match play.
Except for one.
You rooted for the Yankees. Do you also root for the Warriors?
That was 5 seconds ago. Nay. I see where you're going with this. Okay. All right. I'm not going to tell you to back up. Just put it in park for a second. That was back when I was a child. I was I was 20 years old or something.
So who's your team now? Ago. The Dodgers?
The LA Dodgers were my team. I picked them out when I lived out in Maryland. Gosh, what year was it? Like 2007? Yeah, 2007. I went to like zillions of Orioles games out there. Like that place has more beer and ticket money for me than they need to worry about for a while. But I really appreciated, honestly, what it was the Dodgers uniforms what got me. I just like the white and the blue, looked slick. And then the more I just got into baseball over the past 12 years, like baseball is one of my top 5 or 3 favorite things on the planet. So I'm happy I picked the Dodgers, and through I own a ton of Dodger stuff, and the collection won't stop. I mean,
so maybe the chalk goes after you, because since then they decided to spend a lot of money.
Well, what good does it get us? Okay, so we go to 2 straight World Series. Hold on, folks. We're getting back to golf in a second. So if we got to 2 straight World Series, it's getting to the point now where I don't want to go to a World Series if there's not a bigger chance we're going to win. Because 2 years ago when we lost to Houston, that was our best shot. Like that was a great 6 games, and they nuked us in Game 7. Whatever. Then when we went up against the Red Sox, whoever was going to go up against the Red Sox took them to 5 games. The game we won was much like how the Lakers lost to the Pistons, and I'm a Lakers fan too. Sorry. Which means I've been checked out for the past 6 years. But anyways, yeah, I know, right? This is good stuff. Oh, these are all solid gold takes. When the Lakers lost to the Pistons several years ago, this is right before the Heat won, and they changed the handshake rule when Ben Wallace and Chauncey Billups and the Pistons beat the Lakers in 5. The Lakers won in like Game 2 or something in like a double overtime with a Kobe Bryant 3-pointer, and LA was losing their mind. Everyone was looking at the Pistons saying like, that's how Kobe F's you. That's how he gets you. Attaboy. But in the other 4 games they beat him, wash. That's exactly what happened with the Red Sox and the Dodgers. The one game the Dodgers won in that World Series was like an 18-inning BF whatever, and the other 4 games the Red Sox just played their regular season ball and creamed them. I swear to God, I wish the Dodgers didn't make it to the. My hemorrhoids acting up just thinking about this. I wish the Dodgers did not get to the World Series because they could have taken a week extra off and not had to. Now I got to wear a T-shirt.
Just be thankful that you have a team.
2018 NLCS.
Just be thankful you have a team.
But what's a lateral move? We have to win a ring right now, and I'm one of those idiots right now that says if they win a ring like right now, then I don't need another the rest of my life. I'm sure I'll get greedy, but anywho.
Yeah, my team's stuck in Washington. They're long gone.
That's true. So you don't just follow the Blue Jays just because?
No, I don't like the Blue Jays. I hate the Nationals because they stole my beloved Expos.
Montreal Expos. That's true.
I root for like nobody.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what I like about baseball too. Is just like, yeah, I am a Dodgers fan, Yes, I really like the Dodgers, but really, I don't have to have a favorite team to like baseball the way I like baseball.
Yeah,
it's
I
like
love
golf.
watching
It's
baseball.
like I really don't know. Obviously, DJ's my horse in every tournament, and I love DJ, but he doesn't tee it up all the time. Doesn't mean I don't watch. I like golf. I like baseball. Just
Yeah,
whatever.
that's something nice about golf.
Anyways, real quick, I guess Kisner is a warrior, and if they go to the Ryder Cup format that I like, which I'm not saying they will, or it's a rumor, if the captain just has 12 picks, 6 professional, 6 amateur, or just 12 captain's picks, whatever, Kevin Kisner would be a pick every time that man plays match play good. So right now, today is April the 3rd. I sent Zach a text on the morning of April the 2nd that really I had as much of a heart attack as he did, but for a much different reason in that I saw a tweet on April the 1st, which is April Fool's, but it didn't calculate out. But essentially now I buried the lead. I texted Zach saying, oh, hey, here's some notes for the show. I got to go caddy. But by the way, did you hear about Tiger withdrawing? Bad back for the match play. And Zach just is like, no, what? What's going on? You're kidding me, right? And I was about to text him a response, and I just went delete, and just sat there and went, oh, Christ, yesterday was April Fool's. And nobody else talked about it except this one. I got God. I get God a lot, but this time I got
this time
down.
you really got God.
Damn it! It's the funny thing is, as much as you said, the same face you made for having a heart attack for thinking that poor Eldrick was withdrawn from the Masters for real, which is a tragedy. I was having the same heart attack just thinking, punked. That was merely I just had a small crisis, but it was a heart attack on the same magnitude. Like, oh, I don't flinch or jump at anything, and I just jumped out of my bones. That guy got me. I don't even know who it was. I don't even remember. It got me good.
Yeah, once we're on the topic of Tiger, though, we should go back to discussing him. I actually thought he was going to win come Saturday after he beat Rory, and then Mr. Beer Garden got the best of him, and just
Beer Garden. It's not to say it looks like Tiger tapped out and he needed the time off or whatever, but I mean, Tiger played good. Tiger played very good. Not that I expected more out of the Rory match, but Rory just kind of did his old little flutter that we're kind of used to, so to speak. At least we're not talking about it so much per se. But Tiger played well. He played very good. And well, what's the tournament we have between the Valero Texas Open and the Masters?
Nothing.
Shell Houston?
No, the Masters is on the 11th.
Well, and today's good call. Okay,
Yeah.
No wonder. I'm sorry. Forgive me. I've been so out of the loop here. I was seeing a lot of traffic on Twitter in terms of the people talking Masters picks, which, you know what, folks? We'll temper those down and probably talk about it online a bit, but we won't talk Masters. Possibly we might just do a Masters podcast. Me and Zach talking old Masters highlights and moments and fun stuff. Yeah, I tell you what, literally I just thought of this right now and it's on the fly, and Zach and I will discuss it post-show in the runner, but no, runner's before the show. What's after the show? Fuck it. Anyways. The Anyways, we could just totally do like a little 20 or 30 minute Masters only podcast, because we've been kind of dodging talking about the Masters and it's coming up faster than I thought. So anything else you want to cover in the match play before we get to the Valero Texas Open, which has the limited field that it is, but I don't know.
I guess I have a good hypothetical for you. So I actually think the match play was played at probably the best course you could for an event like this, where 16, 17, and 18, you have a huge risk reward. And if you're down 3, you could really go for it, and you actually do have a good chance. They're not just saying that. Are there any other courses that you're familiar with that could be like this?
Listen, in a day and age where we need to make shows where the talking heads have to have points and counterpoints and controversy, I agree, Zach, 100% wholeheartedly that course is obviously is obviously suited for it's suited for match play. I heard the No Laying Up guys talk about how could it be converted or in terms of into a stroke play tournament, and would it be just as good? And that's shortening up courses, lengthening courses always bothered me. I mean, for as much as I don't care for the shorter hitters, just in terms of the few ones that are out there, they're just not favorites of mine. When we watched the PGA at Bethpage, and everyone mark my words, one of the number 10, the par 4, it's a 290-yard carry to the fairway. Zach Johnson doesn't hit it that far, guys, and he's a multiple major winner. As much as I love the course showing its teeth, or whoever making the rules showing their teeth, you have to make it square to the field. You have to make it equitable. I mean, That's why I don't like 17 at Sawgrass. It's all that water. What if you have a guy who just can only hit putter? Like, let's say he's just having the shanks and he just can't whatever. You can't do it there. It's like golf has to be a way that you can at least kick it into the hole 1 inch at a time towards the hole. That's kind of the point. It can't be impossible. But anyways, the course is a little short, and I like that Austin Country Club, and I like that. And not to say it's gimmicky, but it's like if you want to get your Brooks Koepkas or your DJs out there, fine, let them. See what happens. Risk reward. We shouldn't be protecting par so much. The whole trick is, as we saw in the Sony Open this year, is when you it's when the whole field is surging. Not so much as it's like, oh, it benefits the long hitters or the short hitters. It's more about the pin placement and the conditions, and their relationship therein too. So. But I mean, I can't, in terms of another course, I don't know. What do you got off the top of your head? Help me jog up something. What do you think would be a good one?
I'm trying to think of one with, I guess, like PGA National would be a pretty good one.
Solid, very solid.
With the difficult closing holes, but I think this is the best.
It's certainly the most appropriate. I can get you with that. I mean, but then again, wouldn't Riviera be fun for match play?
Riviera would be great too.
Yeah. I love match play, so it really doesn't matter either way. So, who do you like for the Valero Texas Open? We'll try to keep this abbreviated, folks, because we got some fun stuff to get to at the end. I guess I'll lead off with my couple here. My long shot, unremarkable. Let's just get it out of the way. Chris Kirk at 155-1, and then my favorite, because the lines shifted a bunch, but we're still doing this Wednesday night. I looked at this back early Tuesday or something. My favorite is JB Holmes at 50-1 because that smells like cheating right there. That's not a sucker bet, even though it feels like it. Where it's like 50-1. I mean, I wonder how much, if he doesn't win, I wonder how much cash is dumped on him. What do you got?
That's a great price at JB also, and I saw he won 2 out of his 3 matches at the match play. I think he just lost
playing
to Kuchar.
Solid at match play. He won at the Genesis, which he's not known for being a long hitter and that, or like a shot maker, and that's the place where you have to be. God forbid he's never won twice in the same year. I don't think. I don't have that stat readily available, but Holmes just smells good to me. I mean, everybody else seems just like it's just too fat or too thin. I can't do it. So, anyways.
So my first pick. I finally get to use one of my other Canadian guys, Nick Taylor, who I wrote up in the article.
Nick the Stick.
Yeah, he's been popping off. He missed the cut here last year, even though I feel like this course really suits his game. And the 2 years before that, though, he had top 25s, sort of proving that it suits his game. But he's coming in at 80-1.
Gotcha.
And he's made 5 consecutive cuts with a T16 in there. And this is a very weak field. I think there's a couple big names in Spieth who can't play golf. Finau.
Yeah,
Kuchar.
actually, keep talking for a second. Let me pull that up because I had Jerry good on his. It's funny because I got in my top 10 here the likes of like Jim Furyk is 25-1 for crying out loud. I mean,
I think Furyk has no better chance than Holmes.
There's only 3 guys who are under 20-1, and that's Fowler at 10, and Finau and Kuchar at 16. And I think Kuchar, that's not a sucker bet. I think that's fair because Kuchar's playing some strong golf. What if Kisner was in the field right now? What do you think his odds would be for crying out loud? Even though they would. Oh, see, dang! I wish I worked in Vegas because I keep finding all sorts of ways to think how I could take people's money, but I can't win it on the other end.
What would it be? Bet on everyone except for Spieth?
No, not so much. It's like I see these damn like sucker bets. Like you told me about like Tiger Woods when he was going for the Masters, and I'm just sitting there going like, oh please, everyone take that bet. I'll just throw up phony stuff just to be like, who's gonna throw money at that? Oh my gosh! But that's no big deal.
Yeah, so I'll get ahead to my favorite pick, who I actually think will win, even though he's not one of the bigger favorites. It's Billy Horschel at 25-1.
That's right. Honestly, dog, I have in my machine here Billy Horschel at least taking the top 3 in the tournament.
Wow, I love
and
that.
That's unprompted. I did not tell you that. You told me Billy Horschel a couple days ago, and I knew this, and I looked at the list going like, this is going to work out nicely because at 25-1, I have I have him in the top 3 right now in
Yeah.
terms of not odds, in terms of winner. So
You know how he's finished in this event? He came T4 in 2016, T3 twice, T11 in 2018. He's basically, this is his course. I'm surprised he comes in at 25-1.
you know what? For once, I think that's kind of fair. I mean, in terms of like the attention my machine's giving him and what like those odds, and I think that's fairly balanced.
What's like Spieth coming in at?
I think you made a very astute pick. Spieth is coming in at 20-1, one step behind him. I have him 4th on my model.
Oh, really? I don't see how Spieth could be better odds than Horseshoe. I get he's a big name, but he's been terrible.
It's how a machine works. That's why I have him 4th. I don't have him finishing. He's not finishing 1st overall. I have him 4th. But I mean, that's kind of like how why did Kokrak show up a couple times in my algorithms? He has though, and right now I got him 7th in this tournament. He's 25-1 also.
Yeah, Kokrak's a
That's
stud.
just a random one, folks. That's just a free tidbit.
I'd take Kokrak over Spieth
He's
any
definitely
day.
coming around. It's coming around. When is my boy Charles Howell III going to show up? That's the question. So, what else you want? Anything else you want to talk about with the Valero Texas Open before we get into some fun wit, humor, and banter? Ew.
No, we can move on. I guess I have one Twitter question this week.
Yeah, that's right. Hit us with your best
that we
shot.
could go over. So Ryan Jones
Fire
on Twitter asked how
My gin
many
and tonic's
majors?
empty.
How many majors do you think Tiger will win, and if so, which?
So, how many majors will Tiger win henceforth, and if so, which?
Here, so I could give my answer while you're thinking, since I read this already and gave it a little thought.
You can go ahead, but to be fair, this is kind of like one of those chambered responses I've had for years, and it still stands. But you go ahead.
So I actually think he's gonna win 2. Everyone thinks he's gonna win 1, and that'll be it. But I'm gonna go with 2. I think he'll win the Masters, because I don't think it matters how say like old you are. I think you could compete for the next several years, even 10, 15 years. He knows where to miss. He knows all that, the same spiel everyone says. And then I think he's going to win one of the other ones.
Well,
I don't know which. I have no idea which.
You turd. You had me for a second because I feel the same way, and I've been nursing this new theory where I really feel like he's going to win 1 more for sure. He's never going to catch Jack. But then I've been warming up to the idea that he could win 2 more. And I was, in lockstep with you, saying, "Oh yeah, if he's going to win another one, it's definitely going to be at Augusta." And I was sitting there saying, "I'm saying like Zach, please say the Open Championship," because not saying anyone can win there, but anyone in the field could win there. It's just like that's the way a links style course neutralizes and/or benefits everybody. So I was hoping you would say not Augusta and any one of the other ones. I was just like, I could see. It used to be I always said Tiger has 1 more major in him. A British Open or the Masters. I could see him maybe winning both. It needs to happen sooner rather than later, but
I'm going to go with the U.S. Open. Hot take. U.S. Open by 10 strokes.
It's tough to... Whoa, you getting hotter. That's
2031 when he's like 60.
Well, I mean, he'll probably have cybernetics, like a cybernetic spine or like,
exactly.
Terminator vision or whatever. That's what LASIK turns into after a while.
Exactly.
How the
now we're
surgery
thinking.
goes. So what was the name of the Twitter account?
At Ryan Jones.
Thank you, Ryan Jones.
That was numbers, but he knows who he is.
That's always a great question. I mean, that's granted, we can only answer that once in a while and not every week. But to be fair, those are what I mean. That's why I get like the term barstool sports. It's just like, what do you and 2 friends sit around and talk about? Like anytime somebody gripes about something or bitches about something, or friends of mine I have don't talk about good stuff, I'm just like, hey, why aren't we talking about who's going to win the Gold Glove for shortstop, or who's going to why aren't we speculating some fun sports stuff? I mean, I know that's some people aren't into sports and that's very one-dimensional, but that's what I'm into. And guess what? If you engage me in what I'm into, we're all going to be better off for it. I guarantee you. So I have a number of caddy stories or isms. You got your Canadian fun fact.
Yeah, so this is a new segment we added because we realize people want to hear from the source, and Luckily for us, we have a caddy on board.
Yeah, this is where maybe if we get sound drops or segment drops, we can come up with like some fun rhyme, or maybe we'll get Rich Banks on retainer and he can make some songs for us. But ultimately, Zach asked me, or other people have asked me before, like for good caddy stories. And the trouble is, much like how my golfer today, when we did 36 holes, put me on the spot and said, like, you ever caddy for celebrities? And I said, yeah. And when I started thinking of them, I know I only thought of 10% off the top of my head of all the celebrities I have caddied for, because there are just so many different ones at different times and places. And to be fair, like a couple days ago, the Belching Beaver Brewery, which is down in Vista, California. I used to live a couple blocks from their main headquarters and their initial brewing site. 2 of their 3 brewmasters and head brewmasters were in the foursome that I was caddying in. I was caddying for another fella from a different area. But to me, those guys are celebrities, or people who are like really nice, or like people who like are really good at golf, or people who are like have really good jokes or whatever. I mean, I remember caddying for Ray Romano with Kevin James in the group, and Kevin James had his 2 buddies from Chicago, and I still remember to this day, 18 years later, that Kevin James's 2 friends from Chicago were still the 2 funniest guys I ever met. And Kevin James and Ray Romano were in the group. It was glory. I remember it still to this day. I don't remember their names, but I still remember some of the stuff they said. I'm just like, God, that's funny. These guys are just. And then even today, I forgot, somebody said a funny joke on the golf course. I turned around and said, that sounds really old fashioned. I never heard that before. That's why I keep this stupid little notebook. I got to keep writing down all this crazy little look at it. Zach's looking at it on Skype.
Ooh,
it
that's
looks
very
like
old fashioned.
Indiana Jones's diary here. I mean, I don't even know what you're looking at there. Oh, well, that's anyways. So the thing I wanted to share with you guys, it isn't so much caddy story, but it's something that happened this week, and it's something I do with golfers, and we can also do this too, Zach. Take heed in this, in terms of if we're ever feeling tired, when it's coming to the very end of the round. I had this happen back on Monday where I had a random one and done for 36 holes with this nice fella. He was a 3 handicap from, he just moved into a house off Arrowwood golf course in Oceanside. Shout out to, God, what was his name? I forget. Great guy. His son was playing there. He had an ace the day before on Old Mac number 5. But anyways, Mike, I think his name was. He when I caddied for him in the morning, 18 holes, and then on the second round, we were coming off the 13th green, which is on Old McDonald, and it's a very short par 4 that day, only playing like 330, and he hit like stupid driver, poor wedge into the green. And when we were walking off the green, he just straight up looked at me and said, "I lost 20 yards." And I'm just like, I think his name's Mike. I apologize. He's not listening right now, but we're just calling him Mike for the sake of the story. No. But at any rate, I was just like, "Come again, Mike?" And he just said, like, "I just hit a wall, Jer. I got tired. I don't know what to do." And I was just kind of like, okay, well, at least you know it. Like, when we were 100 yards out, he looked at me and said, like, "I need a 120 club." And I'm just like, got it. And he hit the shot. And that was on number 14 green. And as we're walking up to 14, I looked at him and said, I haven't told many golfers this, because usually when you get to 17, 18, this is exactly what I said, but I told him this, and he was a 3 handicap, so he could relate, and or at least it didn't blow his mind, but he appreciated this, and I want to spread this word to a lot of people. When we were walking to the 15th tee, we were walking to the 14th green, so he's going to putt, not swing, but I told him, "Listen, Mike, we have a par 5, long par 4, long par 5, long par 4 to finish up this round. That means if we play all the rest of this round, greens in regulation for the last 4 holes, that's only 10 swings. 10 solid swings where you either have to just remember to hold your breath or keep your head down or focus." And every single time I've related that to a golfer, it's paid off dividends, where like I'll sit there and be like, "All right," and they'd hit a good shot and be like, "All right, 1 down, 9 to go." If you can parcel out in your head, reverse engineer your round, it does you a lot better. On a lot of golf courses, if they're struggling with the driver and they just start to hit it good, and like 17, 18 are driver holes, I'll like hand them the driver on 17 and be like, "All right, listen, as you've been doing, keep your head down. And if they hit a good one, I'm like, "Perfect. In 10 minutes, do that again." Just like, you just parcel it out to like, don't think about your approach, don't think about putting, break things down into, I only need this many more tee shots, I only need this many more approaches when it comes to using calories or using energy. That's what I told him. I said, like, think about it like this, whether we like finish up with an 80 or a 90, if we hit the ball properly, we're only hitting 4 more drivers and 4 more approaches with 2 other shots, like on a par 5. I mean, that's 10 swings. At the end of the round, he hit 11. He had 11 swings after I said that, and he looked at me and said, "You're right. 10 good swings plus one mistake and one for error." And I was just kind of like, "That's how it goes, brother. That's just how everything's about perspective in golf." And I've always preached this when I was a pro. It doesn't matter what you know or what your student needs to know. You need to get on some type of level of understanding and basis, communication, whatever you want to call it. I mean, that's how we're eventually that's how we break through language barriers. If you think about it, I mean, we have to find like common ground. Or when I tell somebody like, take 10% off that putt, that could mean something to a lot of different people. I mean, it's like perspective is everything in life, especially golf. Golf is life. So that's kind of my caddy story for this week, because that's something that I've done before, and I saw it happen actually very recently. And Mike limped in with a 76, even though I thought he played bad enough to shoot like 80 or 81. He shot 76 that day while getting really tired on the final round, or the second round. So
shout out Mike again. But yeah, that's actually great advice.
You know what the funny thing is? He had on his golf bag, it was from Oceanside Golf Club, and right above the logo, it had a Twitter handle on it. And I looked up the Twitter handle. I'm not going to tell you guys what it is because it's a waste of your search, because when I looked it up, there wasn't anything there. But it was called like @TheRealBigBaller or like The Real Mike Baller or something. I mean,
maybe it wasn't a Twitter handle. Maybe that's what he calls himself.
That's distinct. That's very distinct. So,
but that's a great tip, because at the end of the round, that's when things usually unravel for me, especially.
So my gin and tonic's just about empty here. We're keeping this one short. What's our Canadian fun fact of the day, Zachary?
Our Canadian fun fact of the day is that Canada has more lakes than the rest of the world combined.
Really?
How many lakes do you think Canada has?
Well, now hold on. Before we really start to dissect this, I don't know how to. Where are we starting from? Okay, I don't know what a relative number is. Okay. Do you have a list in front of you of
like the countries with the
most lakes? No, I mean no. No. Do you have a list in? No, do you have a list in front of you? Because I'm not going to look it up. Do you have a list in front of you of like countries with the most lakes? Can you tell me who's in second and what the number is?
No, I can't.
Yeah, I need an idea. Oh God. Okay, how many digits is it?
Because you're going to be so far off.
4 digits or okay? At least tell me. No, I'm not going to be far off.
No, I want you to be off by like so much. It's going to be great. Great.
Okay,
content.
I'm going to say, hold on. I got a number. I got a number in my head. You tell me how much you want me to be off by, and I'm going to try and sink it in that basket.
No,
what do you think I'll be off by?
I want you to be off by 1.
By 1?
Yeah, just 1. Because now I get to see how far off you're really going to be. I'm not even going to give you an idea of the numbers.
What does Canada have, like 2 lakes?
It could be anywhere between 10 and 10 million lakes.
I think Canada has, I'm going to say 175,000 lakes.
Yes, so far off. Love it.
Dick.
Canada has more than 31,700 lakes.
Wait, I was way off. Wait, so hold on a second. You have over 31,000 lakes in Canada.
And the rest of the world has less than 31,000 combined.
Okay, that's interesting. I really, oh my God, you know what? I probably would have taken a whole comma back there, because I mistakenly, if we have any fans from Minnesota, I literally was going like, yeah, well, Minnesota's the land of 10,000 lakes, so it's got to be way bigger than that. No, Minnesota's the land of 1,000 lakes, not 10,000, Jerry. Oh gosh, that was really good. That's unlike whoever said the maple syrup fact was funny. It was not. I'm not disagreeing just to disagree. It's not. No, of course you guys are the number 1 in maple syrup. Duh.
We're just a very impressive country.
Yes. Oh, I do not disagree. I'm just saying that fun fact was aces, but the whole maple syrup thing, I'm still stewing over. Like, no, of course you guys are maple syrup.
Vermont has lots of maple syrup. They could win.
Yeah, but they have to fly under the American flag. That's much different.
It's true.
And besides, if I want my maple syrup, I'm not buying Vermont syrup, okay? Take it from this American. I'm buying Canadian maple GD syrup if I want the good stuff. I mean, Yeah, well, Canadian GD or goddamn Canadian or Canadian goddamn whatever, however you want to put it. That's where the maple syrup comes from. That's like saying, like, you know who makes the best potatoes? Idaho. It's like, yeah, I think it's in their state motto.
Yeah.
So, I really don't have much else to talk about. I got a couple of things we can save for another show, but I think this is a good time to wrap it up.
Yeah, and we'll bring you guys a special Masters podcast early in the week. We just thought of that great idea. Well, by we, I mean Jerry. And
it's the royal we. Like, as I always say, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Zach. As much as I God bless you guys for being as nice as you are, saying we do this very well or whatever. This wouldn't happen if it wasn't for Zach, really.
Skype for really being so convenient.
Well, you know what? I don't, like I said, I don't know who. I sent you the text earlier saying are Google and Microsoft separate companies or sister companies, because they're kind of both effing me the same way.
They're dead
so
to you.
I don't know. No, I still have to work with them so we can do this. What we're doing right now is still through the magic of God knows what sponsorship, but which is Michigan Sports and Entertainment. By the way, I forgot to mention that at the start in the intro. We're happy to be Michigan Sports and Entertainment on their platform, being their golf podcast. It's an honor to be, like, whether it's like you're the baseball or fantasy baseball or football or fantasy football, to be considered like the golf guys. That's nice. That's really nice. And I get it. If you don't think we're the golf guys, or you disagree with us or don't like us, I get it. That's exactly why I'm kind of doing this, is because I didn't like anybody else. So it's just, if you don't like us, delete. Don't leave a comment. That's no big deal to me. It's, if you don't like us, move on. That's what I did to everybody else. You just move on.
I'll give one last exciting bit of news for our listeners who will get a first preview before Twitter it's released. I'm going to announce it on Twitter in a couple days, but everyone listening to this gets it a little early. We've officially received merch, or are receiving merch in about a week.
Yes.
We have 3 separate Nike golf hats coming in black, white, and like not yellowish. I don't know how to describe it. You'll have to wait for the pictures. And then we also got white t-shirts, gray t-shirts, white Champions hoodies, gray Champions hoodies, women's shirts, and golf towels with our logo on it. So we're very excited to share that with the people.
Getting as official as we can, and yeah, that sounds great, man. That's I actually see guys with the no laying up towel out there sometimes and whatnot, and it's all the same to me. It doesn't matter. It's just I like seeing the different entities, and people learn. Whether it's like the whole thing about the podcast network, not the golf network. The podcasting community is about sharing. I've had a problem with sharing what I've listened to and I've liked for years, and there's no need for that to happen. It's not saying if like we were to hoard it or not, it would be that way or not. That's not the point. That's also terrible grammar. The point is, the reciprocity and everything is great. That I can't believe we made it this far. Like, I can't wait to, even if we don't sell a single polo, I'll buy them all, because I caddy for so many people who, as I was telling you earlier, oh, it's neat you're a golf writer. Oh, it's neat you have a website. The second I said we have a podcast, everyone's like, oh, what? And that, like, I have people who don't listen to podcasts who are all of a sudden paying attention to things or whatever. And I had this caddy, a buddy of mine, Chris Martin, shout out. He doesn't listen to the podcast. He's one of the sweetest dudes at Bandon Dunes. Anyone will attest to that. I don't think he listens to the podcast yet, but he told me the other day, he's like, hey, you know the caddy DA? I'm like, hell yeah, I know DA. I've worked with him and I shadowed under him. He's a good dude. He's just like, yeah, DA says you're like the de facto spokesperson for Bandon Dunes or something. And I kind of looked at him and I was like, kind of like, no, whoa, let's pump the brakes here. I know I'm not talking to DA. I'm talking to you, Chris Martin. But yes, I talk a lot of shit. Yes, I do it on Bandon Dunes' behalf. And yes, I will always follow it up with saying I am also the most lucky and blessed human being on the planet. But that being said, I do work for the best place I could work as a caddy. You know, go Caddies, just whatever. But I'm not trying to be a spokesperson. Lots of caddies I know that I work with are on Twitter, and we don't follow each other. I mean, I don't know their feeds or whatever. I mean, it's just the way it goes. But ultimately, Michigan Sports and Entertainment, you guys are the best, and we want to be the best for you. Obviously, tell your friends. You can find us on wherever your podcatcher catches us. You know, Zach, where else can they? I mean, I've been telling people essentially on Facebook to all my closer friends. I said I'm not going to keep telling you when the podcast drops. just subscribe, or just type Front to Back Tees into the search bar. You know more about where to find it because I'm an iTunes only guy. What's the easiest way for people to find it? Tell us.
Yeah, so for the website and everything, that's just through the website or through all of our individual Twitters. And we actually do have a Facebook and Instagram, although we don't use it much besides just posting our new posts from all the writers. But for the podcast, you could find us on iTunes and Spotify, as well as this app called Podcoin we're on, which is pretty cool, actually. I'll give a little insight in that. People could go on there, and you actually get money for listening. Although, to be honest, since we're not being paid or anything by them, it's probably not worth it because you have to listen to hundreds of hours.
But hold on, time out. You're talking to a guy who's been listening to podcasts for 10 years, and folks, this is not a live read. This is for real. This is something you can get paid for listening to podcasts.
Yeah, so they give you, I think it's like... I think they give you 1 point for every 5 minutes you listen to, but you need like tens of thousands of points to get like a $5 Amazon gift card. That's why I'm saying, and you could clearly see I'm not being paid for this, that it's not really worth it. But we're on it.
And if you folks could see my face, then you would get that. I understand. But to be fair, dog, I factored this in the other day. I literally listened to at least daily 4 hours of downloaded content a day.
Yeah, so you should listen on their
thing.
And
that's 4 times 7 is 28. 28 times 52 is, well, soon to be an Amazon $5 gift card.
Yeah, you may as well do it. You should download it then.
But folks, we're happy you're here instead, though. That's the point.
Yeah, so
we're found on all platforms. That's the point.
Yeah, we're on iTunes, Spotify, Podcoin, then hopefully we'll be on Google Music soon, and then like iHeartRadio. But they take like a month or 2 months to put you up. It's like a crazy system that they have. They don't give you any information.
Oh, you're good. You're good. Sorry. I'm sorry, folks. I was showing them on the screen. You know, honestly, we can be casual with our production because we just talk for 45 minutes without stopping to take notes or a break or anything. So sometimes messages need to get across. Oh my God, you guys should have heard us or tried to hear us yesterday trying to talk across Facebook Messenger. He was sending me texts during the recording, and it was starting to distract me. And then I was looking at him going like, wait. I was just like, wait. He's like, he keeps just staring at me. And not even nodding.
for perspective, it kept cutting out.
Now, as we know, or hopefully you know already, I'm talking on my AirPods still. Zach has sounded good, but Zach has a microphone now, and a microphone is coming my way as well. So it's time to get with the kit and caboodle. And we're working hard to make sure this sounds as good as we can. That being said, I was trying to show you, I was going to play us off with some outro music. Anytime you're ready to go. Anything else you want to tell the fans?
That's pretty much it. Just subscribe, share what we got, and we're very happy to keep bringing this to you each week.
Yeah, we love you guys. We appreciate it. Thanks a lot. We'll see you on Twitter, on the internet, and everywhere else.